Welcome to the Wisdom of Women show. We are dedicated to amplifying the voice of women in business. A new model of leadership is emerging, and we are here to amplify the voices of women leading the way. I am your host, Coco Salmon, five-time founder, impact investor, and creator of the Force for Good system. Thank you for joining us today as we illuminate the path to unlocking opportunities and prosperity for women-led enterprises by amplifying the voice and wisdom of women. Today, we have a trailblazing visionary of compassionate capitalism in our midst. She is a legendary fire starter for women. Wendy Diamond is a serial entrepreneur, impact investor, and global change maker whose ventures span business, philanthropy, and media. She is the founder of LDP Ventures and the visionary behind the Women's Entrepreneurship Day organization, a movement celebrated in 144 countries and 65 universities to empower women in business. Wendy also pioneered the pet lifestyle industry as Chief Pet Officer of Animal Fair Media, Inc., where she built the first ever media company devoted to animal rescue and the pet-human bond. She's an author of 10 books, sought-after global speaker, and frequent media guest. She has amplified conversations around purpose-driven business, women's leadership, and social good. Recognized by the United Nations, she continues to convene heads of state, investors, and women founders to drive systemic change through entrepreneurship. Wendy, we are so happy to have you here.
Oh my God. Well, now I got to live up to everything you said. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
So, what is a book or movie written by a woman that has significantly influenced your life?
A movie I recently watched, which changed who I speak about all the time now, at least a couple of times a week, is Cabrini. Mother Cabrini, the first American saint in America. This woman came in the I just love amazing women that have made impact. Why we created Women's Entrepreneurship Day, right? In 2013, nobody was talking about women entrepreneurs or women in business. No companies. And literally there was one summit called The Most Powerful Women by Fortune, but there were no corporations having women's groups and things like that. And the reason I created Women's Entrepreneurship Day in 2013 is that was mainly the reason, right? And so when I go back to thinking about movies, books, and women who have inspired me, I would have to say it's Mother Cabrini, the first American saint who came to America in the 1850s. She was a nun in Italy, and she wanted to come to America to help the homeless children in New York City that were from Italy. This woman, at a time in the 1850s, when no women were CEOs, no women even worked, she created $1 billion empire of orphanages and hospitals. And every single hospital and every single orphanage was run by a woman in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And this woman, to me, if you Google Cabrini, you'll see all the hospitals with her name on it, but no one knew who she was because she didn't care about fame, money, and power. And that's what I really believe in this world that we have to get out of our equation. Because when you do things for true passion and purpose, you don't care about those things, right? And you definitely may benefit financially, but you're going to definitely feel so much better about yourself and have less mental health issues. Definitely. So that's why I just love stories about women like that who have really made such an important impact and who've never gotten the notoriety and have been forgotten in history.
So tell us, is it called Mother Cabrini? Is that the name of the film?
The movie's called Cabrini. It should have won the Oscar because it is the most beautiful film, of New York in the early 1900s. And it's a true story about one of the most incredible women in history. And it's called Cabrini, and you can watch it on Amazon Prime.
I love it. We should have like a screening of it. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
amazing. I love that. So I just have to get right in here because Women's Entrepreneurship Day is the 19th of November every
Right.
year. And you have your summit that takes place on the 14th of this year,
Right.
2025.
Mhm.
And I really want to, I've been getting to know you over the last year, and I am just starting to understand what it is that you've created here. So, first, tell us, what is Women's Entrepreneurship Day? What is it?
First of all, Coco, you're amazing. I just love your energy and everything. So, Women's Entrepreneurship Day, I created it in 2013. At that time, I ended up in Honduras on vacation, not realizing it was the murder capital of the world. And I ended up, I ended up volunteering for an organization that gives microloans to poor women. I was supposed to spend a couple hours, spent 3 days, dirt floor, met with all the women entrepreneurs. And that's when I realized, wow, 388 million women and girls are living in poverty. 1 out of 8 women in America live in poverty. At that time, in 2013, women founders only received 1% of venture dollars. Women, until this day, are paying back microloans at a 98% rate, which 90% goes to educate their children, provide for their families. I realize, when women are empowered in business, they have self-confidence, they have dignity, they don't allow human rights violations. By giving a hand up, not a hand out, we can truly
Mhm.
change the world. That was when I realized, if I create a day, I'll create the conversation. So I came back to New York. I went to Governor Cuomo at the time and Mayor de Blasio, and I went to the United Nations. I said, hey, we're going to create an official day in the world. Would you officially proclaim it? Because I knew if they proclaimed it, we launched at the United Nations. We partnered with the US State Department, and that's when we launched in 144 countries. And I knew we would create the conversation. So that was when a lot of the companies you see today that have women's movements came to the United Nations, including MasterCard and JP Morgan. And that's where you saw everyone starting women's groups and stuff like that. When you look at history, you'll see in 2013, none of these groups were really involved in entrepreneurship, including UN
Yeah.
Women, by the way. So
Yeah,
by
yeah.
bringing the awareness towards the importance of women entrepreneurs and women in business is the key to creating gender equality. We're a capitalist society. Give a hand up, not a hand out. Teach and give education about entrepreneurship to create systematic change and help the millions of people living in poverty that are unbanked, especially women.
Ah, I love this. And so, okay, you just told your story and I love it. And what is sort of like you're skipping over some pretty big moments here that I think are important for our listeners. A lot of us get inspired. We have our experiences and we go, wow, the world could really use a little more women entrepreneurship. But you took, and I've watched you over the past year witnessing Wendy in action. You are fearless. You go and talk to whoever and ask for whatever. And it's definitely one of your superpowers. So tell us more about what it took to reach out to those members. You talked to the mayor, you talked to the governor, you went to the UN. How did you even know what to do?
I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Whatever women entrepreneurs have gone through, I've gone through it. Being an entrepreneur, you do what you have to do to make it happen, right? You've got to have grit, right? You have to have purpose. You have to have persistence. You have to have absolute perseverance, right?
Yes.
With
Yeah.
my background in the animal rescue world, when I learned 12 million animals were euthanized a year and nobody was talking about adoption or rescue, I created the first media company to bring celebrities and pop culture to the animal rescue world. If everyone knew you could adopt any breed, any size, any age, they would choose to adopt versus buy. I went on that journey, and let me tell you something, it wasn't easy because, when you think about, like, if you look back, we were the first people ever to bring celebrities and pop culture to the animal rescue world. We created the first ever pet fashion show in history with rescue dogs being, like put in fashion designer outfits and, walk down the runway by famous people and the whole thing. I created the word yappy hour so we could bring people together with their pets to socialize and support animal rescue. I knew everybody wants to help. You
Yeah.
just have to make it really easy for them.
Yeah.
And I was so passionate because I experienced being in Honduras. I witnessed these women that were, earning $1 a day, getting these $100 microloans and being so proud to create their, their store in their one room hut where they lived. Right. And it's like when
Totally.
so for me, when I work on something and I'm so passionate about it, whatever you do, you're talking about it and bringing people together, and people want to, and if you make it easy, people will help you.
Yeah. No, I think it's really powerful. And you just have that tenacity. We're not going to go into the full story of Wendy Diamond today because it is such a story. Google her, Google Wendy Diamond. Like you'll see her pet world was big, big, capital B, booming. She was with like Madonna and like crazy, very well-known humans. George Michael, like there was tremendous. And so she is really unique in that she is able to create all of this and ask for what she wants, which we all need to integrate. So you created this day. You were fueled by this idea that women who are entrepreneurs can fuel the economy of the world, change things for the better. And so you created the day, and now you also have the organization. And I want to talk about the organization from two facets. So, first, Women's Entrepreneurship Day organization is a nonprofit 501c3 organization that gives to women around the world. So, I want to unpack what the impact is of the dollars that you receive and do with those dollars. And then separately, I want to talk to you about what happens when you join We Do and what do I get, the entrepreneur? So let's talk first about the impact of your organization. What does the organization do and how does it serve women all over the world?
So, first of all, our foundation, when we created it, the idea was to bring governments, business leaders, civil society, entrepreneurs, investors together to collaborate to find solutions to economically empower women to start their entrepreneurial journeys, right? And
Yes.
so, when we began, we created a toolkit. We went around the world and found the most successful women entrepreneurs. And we said, hey, will you be our ambassador? Will you bring governments, business leaders, civil society together, right? To collaborate to find solutions, right? And so that was the whole, reason behind it. So our ambassadors around the world are given a toolkit. They're usually successful women. They don't have to be the most successful women, but they have to have empathy. Because what I realize a lot is people who get super successful, people ask, well, the entrepreneurs I know, they're always like, men are so much easier. They're always wanting to help. And you know what? That's the same thing for our foundation as well. Because I think what the problem is women have such a hard time getting there, right? And they're fighting so hard. By the time they get there, they don't want to look back down. Right. So the whole thing is about finding people that still have empathy, that want to support those less fortunate, right?
Mhm.
Be able to bring together and honor the most successful women entrepreneurs around the world. Because at the end of the day, women literally we're not in the media. Like we don't even realize how many women entrepreneurs have changed the way we live today, right?
Totally.
So that was the whole idea behind it. And then it kind of warped into, oh, wow, if we create initiatives and bills, we can really support women entrepreneurs, right? So that's how we collaborated with Congresswoman Grace Meng from Queens. She's been such a support of our foundation, and we've been helping pass bills to support women entrepreneurs. We created the first ever women in disability startup cohort. At that time, there were no startups for disabled women and girls. None. You'll love this. And that all happened because I'm obsessed with watching movies that are impactful, right? And I ended up watching a movie called Crip Camp, a documentary about the first ever camp for disabled children, which led to the American Disabilities Act in the United States. And it was really about this woman named Judy Heumann who was behind this whole thing. I got obsessed during COVID with Judy Heumann and I learned all about her and I met her and it was like such an honor. It inspired me to create the first ever women in disability startup cohort. And that was where, we ended up partnering and we got Google for startups to fund the whole thing. So that's now all over the world. And the other programs we support is we partnered with an organization called Defy Ventures, which is teaching entrepreneurship in prison. People don't realize this. So incarcerated women and men, but we support women. This program is 84% successful. The women incarcerated that go through this program, literally 84% don't go back to prison. As Americans, we pay $100,000 a year for people to be in prison. They could live in an amazing apartment in New York City for that kind of money. these programs are so important because this program only costs $2,000 per incarcerated women, and it's super impactful, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we just created a lot of these partnerships in honor of why we were founded. We fund Adelante Foundation, which is in Honduras, that gives microloans to impoverished women in Honduras, the murder capital of the world. We also support and partnered with Opportunity International, who administer these microloans and funding 10,000 impoverished women to get microloans to start their entrepreneurial journeys. And then we work with media companies, and we just did a partnership with iHeartMedia, the largest radio network. They're doing a PSA campaign to ask everyone to support women entrepreneurs in their community this year on November 19th. We're working on so many different initiatives. I have ADD. Like, I want to do everything, right? I'm not corporate. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm scrappy. I get stuff done. Our whole foundation is finding like-minded people who
Yes.
really do want to make a difference in the world. And it's not just
Yeah.
about them, right?
Right.
It's about helping those less fortunate start their entrepreneurial journeys. And,
Yeah.
our AI program to help, literally, if anybody's listening to this right now, we have a AI program with the most successful AI experts in the entire world. We're talking unicorns. Like, the guy that created Siri and Alexa for Amazon is part of our program. He sold it to Amazon. Okay. We have the most successful AI experts, and we've made the most simple, easy way for people to learn AI. And we're coming up with a course for decentralization. We have girls in Afghanistan going through this program that are forbidden to go to school. So we're just working on important things that are changing the world.
And you just got back from Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah. Woo! And so that's what's so exciting. What we're
Yeah.
doing is really making an impact around the world.
Yeah.
Countries where women were suppressed are now celebrating Women's Entrepreneurship Day. Governments are recognizing Women's Entrepreneurship Day. But we're not just a day, we are a movement, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to support women entrepreneurs every day and women in business, because there's no guarantee you're going to work for a company for 20 years anymore. You need
Not at all.
those entrepreneurship skills to survive.
100%. And so what I love, and it's taken me a year to fully digest this, is that by joining, my dollars go to all of those causes you just described, which are extraordinary. But what I also love is that as a member, I get a kick-ass experience. So this is what I love about We Do is it creates these win-wins. And so I learned about We Do about a year ago through a mutual friend, Ann Olson, who is a friend of mine through another organization. She said, "You've got to go to this We Do thing." And so I signed up, and I didn't even get to go. Okay. I didn't even get to go. Ann told me, so I'll do this. But then I became a member, and the membership allowed me to do all of these really cool things through the year. I just want to share with our listeners. For example, I got to go to this Defy Ventures. I went up to a woman's jail in Connecticut.
You were in prison.
I was in prison.
Maximum security prison.
Maximum security prison. And with Defy Ventures, it was one of the best days of my decade. It was transformative and healing to me. And I hope that the women that I spoke to got something out of it. I know they do. I really know. And there's huge. So I got to do that. I got to go to an event at UBS where there were very important family office people who spoke about what they're investing in across the board and their importance of investing in women. I got to go to the former home of Bob Dylan and learn about crypto, which I didn't know anything about. And by the way, I made a big investment because of what you told me.
Yeah, to the club.
I know. And then I actually hosted an event at my house, and I got to meet Jamie. What's her last name? Jamie, who's a big time hedge fund investor.
Or that first woman. She's one of the first women to ever create a hedge fund. How crazy. And that's the whole thing about our foundation. Right.
Yes.
I look at just for people who are listening that don't live in New York, there's so many events. There's so many groups. None of these groups existed before we launched. All I say to people is I want to make sure you're going to benefit.
Yeah,
when you're at the end of the year, because I do this for free, right? Because I just want
totally.
right? And so I look at it like, okay, would I donate to this?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
when people donate, they don't realize, but you're in the room with the most incredible people like you. You're in the room with some of the most incredible people in this world. You're
Yes,
going to
yes.
meet and learn
Yeah.
from the smartest people in the world. You're going to get to a summit and meet the craziest people in the world. Our summit has 7 unicorn women founders.
That's
Our
crazy.
summit
There's
of
what? There's
nations,
12.
literally, our summit has 3 influencers that are clean. I made sure the
Yeah.
influencers that are coming to our summit are not dirty. They haven't
Yeah.
done anything wrong. They're not
Yeah.
famous for their butt. They're not famous for their boobs. They're literally famous for making an impact, whether it's for entertainment, whether it's for school, education, or whether it's through fitness. There's
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
of the most impactful influencers,
Yeah.
including Chloe Ting with 25
Mhm.
million followers, Mackenzie Brooke, who was on Disney with 25 million followers, and the incredible Jenny Hoyos, who's like 19 years old and killing it with,
Yeah.
million followers on YouTube and all over the world. We have the biggest investors in the world, family offices that have over 10, 12 billion dollars looking to invest in women. We
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
women from DeFi Ventures that went through our
Yeah.
program that are now thriving. We
Yeah.
have these girls that are disadvantaged, that are disabled, that are going to come there, that created the awards for our Pioneer Award honorees. This is a room where everyone is
Right.
on an equal playing ground. And you're there, and by the end of that day, you're friends with everyone. And that's what we want. And you're collaborating, you're making impact, you're figuring out ways to make this world a better place.
It's exactly right. In my experience over this year, I've gone to all these events, and it is so cool to learn from these extraordinary, impactful investors, entrepreneurs, people, right? It's a common group of people who come to all the events because we're all members. So I have maybe for me, the biggest, most wonderful part is I make friends. It becomes like the golf club for men, except it's a lot less expensive than that, right? And
Totally.
right,
We're
there's
so
no food minimum. I come to these events. They are fun, fascinating, and dripping with interesting people. And then I have made friends, and now I'm starting to do collaborations. This is really special to me. I hope everybody you can attend the summit virtually, or you can come in person. I think there's like no tickets left, but you may be able to come in person if you hurry and go to joinwedo.org and get a ticket. When you do that, though, you also get a membership. There's plenty of virtual access, but it's important to come.
one of the things we created is an amazing startup education program and platform. You can find investors, everything you need to start your entrepreneurial journey. All you have to do is be a member, and you can be a virtual member. And like our AI program, it's free. It's literally free, and you actually graduate. And what's cool about it is we made it super fun, easy. So even if you're intimidated and you're like, I don't get it, I don't understand it, I have super high, low IQ, and I get it now because I went through the program. And so I think, like these kind of things and bringing and making it really simple and easy for people to embrace entrepreneurship and those entrepreneurship skills, whether you're an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, is the key.
Yeah. I love it, Wendy. I love it. And I just want to invite all of our listeners to just dive into joinwedo.org and check it out. So as a founder, as an investor, as a advocate, what wisdom would you share with visionary women scaling companies of substance and value today?
The thing I would do if I was starting a new company, surround yourself by the greatest people.
Yeah.
Right? You'd rather have a little of something huge than a lot of nothing. Give equity. If you can't pay people, give equity, do things, get advisors, build your community. Because you don't want to do this alone.
Yeah. And you have done that so brilliantly. It's such an honor. So I would like to shift now to a fast fire round where I ask you 5 questions and answer them in 5 words or less. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dogs or cats?
Both.
What's the boldest risk you've ever taken?
I climbed to the Lost City in Colombia and I didn't know it was a trek and I didn't understand what trek meant. I did 4 days, 500 meters a day and 1,500 Inca lunge steps to the Lost City. And that probably was the craziest physical, mentally thing I've ever done in my life.
Awesome. What's your secret to connecting global leaders so effortlessly?
Being authentic.
Mm. What's one cause you'd love the world to rally around next?
I think continue in the sense of number one, rescuing animals. Right? When I started when I started Animal Fair, 12 million animals euthanized a year. Now there's only 2 million. So if we keep doing it and bringing awareness towards adoption, what they do for us mentally and the unconditional love they provide is the greatest gift, right? So I think that and supporting women entrepreneurs and ways to support the 388 million women and girls living in poverty and really finding ways to make a difference in the world. If everyone found a cause that they really cared about, whether it's fighting cancer, whatever it might be, right?
A purpose
In life.
What is your personal definition of outrageous success?
I think to always be humble and never think of success.
I love that. Yeah, just keep going, right? That's
Yeah, like,
beautiful.
who
Just
cares?
being humble.
Who
I love
cares,
that.
right?
Yeah, it's so great. Oh, so it's such a pleasure to be with you and be a part of your movement. I wanted to share with our listeners that I've launched the Win-Win-Win Challenge. So I'm inviting 100 founders to create 100 growth plans for your business. Together, we can raise $10,000 through November 19th. I invite you to go to aforceforgood.biz/win dash. You can sign up. It's 100% free. When you submit your plan and there's a template, you just send it in. When you do, I immediately give $100 to We Do. And I want to get 100 founders to do this. In the meantime, make sure that you go to joinwedo, JOINWEDO.org, and sign up to be a member, sign up to come to the summit, and become a part of this incredible journey of helping other women and leveling up yourself. What's our final word here? What's our lasting thing you want
And
to share?
wherever you are in this world, you can make a difference. We have ambassadors all over the country, all over the world. So
Yeah.
join their different groups and things like that. Thank you so much, seriously, for having me on your show. I love it. Woo-hoo!
Woohoo!
Keep on
Woohoo,
my
Wendy!
evolution.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being a world changer. Be sure to like, follow, and share the Wisdom of Women show on whatever your favorite listening or viewing platform is. And to infuse more wisdom into your business, be sure to take the Growth Readiness Quiz at aforceforgood.biz/quiz and uncover where your insight is needed most. The world is made better by women-led business. Let's all go make the world a better place.
Woo!